Hello everyone, Caren Glasser here, and welcome to Connecting People, Changing Lives. We are so happy to see everyone today. We have a great guest, but before we even go there, I want to go to my amazing co-host, Nancy Ferrari. Good morning, Nancy. How are you?
I'm fabulous, and I wanted to, this totally feels like spring to me. I woke up not only springing out of bed because I'm so excited for today's show, but we've got the full moon. We're very supported, a lot of energy, and after this show, our viewers are going to know why. And with that said, I want to share our special guest is Joie Gharrity, who I have had the divine pleasure of connecting with, having her on my show, and so I want to know even more about this woman who just inspires me to be even more than I am, that we all are, and Joie Gharrity does just that. She is founder of her company, No.113 Branding, and she is a brand strategist, a social media influencer, and speaker. She has an accomplished career in Hollywood with Sony Pictures, Walt Disney Company, and more, and Joie will be sharing a little bit more about that. But what we're going to be focusing on today is the visibility factor and stepping in to our greatness and doing it with not only with flair and class, and Joey's all about Paris and that illumination factor, and but also even more importantly the collaborative factor of working together and how we can elevate not only ourselves, but each other's success as well. So with that said, I warmly welcome Joie Gharrity to Connecting People, Changing Lives.
Hi, you all. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, we're delighted to have you today. And Joie, we're just going to start at the very beginning. I feel a song coming on. It sounds like the Sound of Music. Let's talk about your journey. Let's talk about
Sure.
how, basically how you got to where you are today and what you're doing, and then let's talk about brand and visibility. So what's your journey? Tell us your journey.
Sure. So I was fortunate enough to get to work in the Hollywood entertainment business for several years, and then I ended up doing one of the first multimedia startups for Disney, and it really propelled me in a different way because I was able to see how powerful community in the online world can be in regards to giving us a lot of freedom, a freedom of expression, a freedom of voice, and it was just incredibly interesting to me. So once I had gone there, before that, I really didn't have another resume. That's all I'd ever done. That gave me the freedom and the choice to propel myself into something new, and I wanted to work with women entrepreneurs. So I launched No.113 Branding.
So what is so what does that mean, number 113? Well, first of all, where did the number 113 come from?
I'm going to guess, but I'm going to let Joie tell us.
Sure. So I'm incredibly inspired by past women entrepreneurs such as Coco Chanel, Marilyn Monroe, etc. And there's a couple different layers to that. One is that I sometimes think that society thinks that people like Coco Chanel and Marilyn Monroe were quite shallow, and they actually weren't. They were pioneers for women around the world to really plant a flag in the ground and have a unique point of view. So with Coco Chanel, for instance, she was telling us to be unique, our unique self, and to let go of the old ways of being all tightened up into these outfits and these ways of dressing, and instead to loosen that up so that we have freedom of what we're wearing, which also I believe is freedom of spirit and freedom of mind and freedom of being a unique person. And Marilyn Monroe actually is quite sharp. And she helped save one of the major studios from going bankrupt by doing one of her last films when she was even sick. But before that, when she was asked what she wore to bed, she said, "I only wear one thing, and that's Chanel No. 5. Now, Coco Chanel and Marilyn Monroe never met before, but that was the original, in my opinion, double dip, and I know we're going to get into that a little bit later. But what was really fascinating to me was that there's two women entrepreneurs across the world from one another, and Marilyn Monroe, by supporting that brand, made Coco Chanel's brand a household name in America, and Chanel No. 5, and Chanel No. 5 helped propel Marilyn Monroe to an even bigger success in her career by making that statement. So No.113 Branding is in homage to Chanel No. 5. It's 1 + 1 + 3 is number 5, and I put the number in front of it. It's my way of saying to the world that I really respect this woman entrepreneur, and I want to honor women entrepreneurs that were pioneers for us in the past.
Love that. Love that. And so often we don't realize how we are, I say, subliminally supporting someone until you have that awareness piece. And I think that's so important, is to be aware of what you are all about. And then when someone comes into your life, and why is it that we're attracted to them? There's obviously a commonality, and then I'm already in the mindset of your double dip and triple dip. But yes, you have truly expanded my consciousness as to that factor within my business, which my coaches are probably going, finally, I'm going to put that out there, because it takes a mindset. It truly does. And I was telling Caren before the shows, I was being called forth. This is a year of visibility. Nancy, your knee can do it. Surgery a year ago. Step out. And when you work with people, I've got a question about that. Does it come up as to what are they resisting in stepping into their, not only their greatness, but their visibility?
Oh, absolutely. And what I want to say is, and I'm going to talk more and more about this out there, is that it's actually difficult for me to be visible. So that's why I was behind the cameras for so many years. I mean, I was behind the cameras my entire adult life, really. So it's a daily practice for me, which I ground myself through meditation and through other meditation exercises in order for me to show up for myself every day to be visible. So absolutely it is, because it's very easy, especially I believe for the women culture, to stay in the shadows. We are taught to be generous with others first. Visibility forces you to be generous with yourself first, so you can be more generous with others. That's a big concept for me in terms of the strategy. That's why one of my first trending strategies is, when you spotlight others, the spotlight will shine back on you. I was getting people comfortable with spotlighting others in a bigger way so that they would be comfortable in allowing the spotlight to shine back on them before I jumped into the new strategies around the dips and around the banana split. Because I knew for women that being in the shadows is actually quite comfortable. And so it's a vessel you have to step into. And as you're stepping into that vessel, it gets easier and easier, but it's still a daily practice. Absolutely.
So, Joey, I have a question then. You mentioned that you do a daily meditation to step into that so that you can show up. Is it something that you might be able to share with us today so that maybe we can all practice together, and maybe it's something that our listeners can take forward with them tomorrow and the next day? So what would be an exercise?
I would love to, and so I want to spotlight actually my meditation teacher. So her name is Summer Simonton, and you can go to summersimonton.com. I do her meditation. It's a guided meditation, and it's a 15-minute guided meditation every morning, and I never miss a morning. If I do, I make myself, I create an intention for 21 days, and I have to start from day one again. So I try not to do that. You're at day 18, and then you have to go back to one again. But the practice is from a discipline point of view of showing up for ourselves first. We absolutely have to show up for ourselves first, for our dreams, for our intentions, for our wants, for our needs, so that the rest of the day we can be a we and not a me. And that is something that I feel also I drum that drum out in the marketplace.
So what would that meditation look like, or what would that, it's just a piece of it. We like to tease our listeners to take them to do this.
So what it does is it asks you to go into a place that you've created for yourself. So again, showing up for yourself, and then it's asking you to look at what your intention for you what it would be, and to concentrate on that intention, and then it takes you through that into a gratitude, so that you come back to being grateful again in regards to what you already have, but also being grateful for what's going to come to you next. And being grateful is also another practice of mine that I start out my day with every single day, and it's been such a game changer for me, because it's all, again, back to Nancy's point about a mindset.
Absolutely. I know I keep a gratitude journal. So every morning when I get up, and when I first started it, I have to tell you, it was so hard just to come up with, 2 things, because every day I would be like, well, it's the same thing as yesterday. And for a while, my gratitude was the same thing day after day after day, until my mind started to stretch. It's a mindset. You're absolutely right. But it's like, well, it's nice. It's blue skies outside. So I wrote down, I'm grateful for blue skies outside. Beautiful. And it seems so ridiculous to even write those words. But now, as you said, it's a habit. It's a habit that I do every single day. Nancy, do you keep any kind of, I know that you're grateful and you do this as a regular thing. Do you keep a journal, or do you, how do you express your gratitude?
Every morning. And Joey is right on the mark. It's about setting the intention that, number one, you're going to do this. I've had not only the people that I have met through interviewing them, one in particular, The Power of Your Angels, fascinating story. She has a book, but when I was going to interview her, I said, I can't read the book because it's a 21-day program, and setting the intention, starting with gratitude, and then however we choose to word. But I'm always starting with thanking God. And then I have my special angels, because I feel that they are always there for us. And for a while there, I had to defend that. People were going, "Oh, you're into that now." I'm saying, well, let me ask you something. If you're in an almost car accident and you say, "Oh my gosh, your guardian angel is with you," okay, well that's okay. But when we talk about it, it is what is always encompassing and surrounding us to support us. So when I go through my meditation, and then always bless, also be in gratitude for my blessings, then I'm setting that day, and that I just put out there, this is going to be a great day. And at the end of the day, and these are patterns that we weren't taught. I know that I grew up that I said my nightly prayer, and I also do that, but it's more intentional as to being in gratitude for what I experienced in this day. And the day on that positive note, not what didn't I do? Like we get that mind spin going. It's all about, it really creates that nice calm space.
So Joey, I have a question, and this is I'm about definitions and understanding words and things that we use, and you're a brand strategist. So when we heard the word brand, what does brand really mean? Is it who we are? Is it a thing? Is it a vision? What does brand mean in terms of when a business owner talks about, this is my brand? What are they talking about?
Sure. So it really is an extension of you, but I actually have created a system, and it's around your song. So there's a song that we're singing out in the marketplace, and that song is either creating a lack or it can create a lot. In other words, you can be a top 10 song, or you can be a chaos song. And so it's a way of clarifying for the marketplace at the heartbeat of what your brand is really about. So I am a brand strategist. I just had my hand analysis done, and she was like, wow, you were born to be a strategist, like all day and all night. And I'm like, absolutely. But the title is is more of an accessory to me. The brand itself is the song, and so for instance, my song is Visibility. It's the visibility song. And then we have verses. We have 3 verses that are supporting the song itself. And those verses are supporting the sales, because it's first the song, by being clear out there in the marketplace, is saying Joey's a visibility queen. Okay, you want to sit on your throne, put your crown on, guys, be proud of it, walk through this world, you know, and let everyone know, because you have to educate the marketplace what the actual brand heartbeat is. And after that, the verses that are supporting the song is supporting the why. It's supporting the push behind it. Why is visibility important? Because visibility gets you higher levels of success. It just organically does. And so you support your song that way, and that's actually the core of true branding, in my unique point of view at No.113 Branding. Logos, websites, business cards, to me, are all accessories. The Chanel suit is actually the song and the verses that you're putting out in the marketplace, so that people can hook into you. And when they hook into you, they hear you and they understand you, and they want more of that song. It's a way where your ideal clients can see you at a higher and higher level. It elevates your brand out there. And if you change your song in the middle, it'd be like, so what's one of your guys' favorite songs? Just one of them.
I like the Eagles' Life in the Fast Lane.
Okay, great. Okay, I do too. That's great. Okay. So if tomorrow, Caren, if the Eagles kept that title but they changed the verses, what would happen to you? That's one of my favorite songs, by the way. So that immediately connects us, because I believe we're all connected. So that immediately connects us, that brings back memories. But if they were to change those verses tomorrow but keep the title, how would you feel?
I would feel kind of shortchanged, because what I like about the song is not just the music, but the lyrics, and I would think I'd be lost. I actually would be lost and wonder why I'm still listening to this.
And not just you, but communities and communities, hundreds of thousands of people that like that song would feel the same way. They'd be disappointed. They might even get angry. They get sad. They don't trust you anymore. It's the same thing with branding. If you're going down your journey, and I've been saying visibility, but then all of a sudden 6 months I go, you know what? I don't like visibility. I'm going to just drop visibility in my top 10 song, and I'm going to change everything inside there for people, and I'm going to say networking. This creates a chaos song out in the marketplace, and all of a sudden people are like, okay, she took a hard right turn, and I don't even think I like her anymore. I think I like her as a person, but I don't trust her, so I'm gonna leave this song.
So you're saying it's almost like it becomes a trust factor.
Absolutely, at a
Wow.
very deep level, at a 3-dimensional level from our hearts. And I'm not saying that you need to box yourself in. What I am saying, though, is when you're clear with your song and your verses, it actually expands your brand and your world, because it allows people to say, okay, I understand that your song is visibility and your verses. Now what do you got? See, I do have a network. I have a No.113 Branding network that my clients go into, and I do support that, but that's not the song I'm going to be drumming. I'm going to let my visibility song drum, and then all these other tangibles are going to continue to support the song itself.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, because I have never referred to it as a song, and that's something that is resonating with me right now because I'm a musician. But I normally refer to what you're talking about as, is it in my wheelhouse?
Right. Yes.
And I use the word wheelhouse, but you know what? I think I'm going to switch my own languaging about this, because song so resonates with me. I love what you're saying. This is cool stuff.
Yes, this is a system I've created, because one day I was coming back actually from Cheryl Calhoun's event, and I was listening to one of my favorite songs, and I also knew that my clients kept asking me, you know, about branding at a deeper level, and I would get them there, and they would do really well, but after a while they would say, what is it I'm doing again? And as I was listening to my favorite song, I was like, oh my goodness, this is a great way to teach it, but also, too, this is a great way to keep reminding people that if their favorite song, like mine is, one of them is It's a Wonderful World, okay? And I said to myself, I said, if tomorrow, if they were to change those verses on us, if Lady Gaga was to change one of her songs on us all of a sudden, what would happen to Lady Gaga? Why would Lady Gaga change a song that she was a top 10 of 10 years ago? See, musicians understand this at such a deep level. They don't go back and change their songs.
Right.
They just keep building on the song.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's what creates albums, and that's what creates iTunes, and that's, you know, and it goes on and on and on and on from there.
Mm-hmm. And I get that that confusion factor, because with some musicians who will take an original song and rap it, remix it. That's why my kids go, "How do you know these words?" I go, because I knew the original. I grew yeah, I mean, I was kind of young in the 60s, but still hearing those tunes. And back then, we did not have any of this technology. We would listen to an album or a radio. I mean, I can still remember the whole verses of the songs.
That's
And
right. And you want people to do that with your brand as well, Nancy. What if everyone remembered not just your song, but all your verses, and they were singing it? See, singing doesn't mean, Tess, in branding that they're actually physically singing anymore. It means that they're buzzing about you, that they're talking about you, that they're sharing your song and your verses out there in the world because they're like, I love this. I want everyone else to hear it.
And when you have a song and a set of verses that are consistent and they stay that way, it makes it easier, I would assume, to collaborate and to double dip, triple dip, and banana split with other people because they know your song, they know your verses, and they can support you and collaborate with you and vice versa. Is that true?
It is true, and also too, your fame your fame game raises, and whatever that means. I mean that. I don't mean People Magazine. I don't care about that kind of fame. I mean from a community and from a world, that your mission and your why and your heartbeat to your company brand get out there, and it becomes a worldwide trend. Because every woman has something to say, right? You two are singing the song all the time. This is why people are understanding your brand at a deeper level. You know, and from that, the other point to all this is that last year what I realized at a really deep level is that our song or our brand, our company visibility is directly linked to your brand's earning power. So, if your song is at a $30,000 visibility at the top, on the charts, right? At the top 10 charts, that's what your brand earning power is going to be at. And so this is actually a very important topic for women to be talking about around the visibility, their song, their clarity, their verses that they're putting out there, because I believe that many women entrepreneurs jump into the entrepreneur game with little to no visibility because they want to make sure that everything's in perfect order, that their house is in perfect order first. And what I'm telling people is that this is, I think, contributing to doors closing earlier than people might be expecting in their businesses themselves. Because for you to get to a certain level, a brand earning power level, it can take up to at least 2 years. So if you're not starting to gain your visibility early on and you wait till everything's perfect first, and you spent a year and a half getting everything perfect, and then come out of the gates, things are dry. People wonder why there's no one coming through their doors. And I was like, because you don't have visibility. Your visibility is directly linked to your earning power. And so I tell people to start getting visible ASAP. So when you do open your doors, people are standing there because they know you already. They trust you. They understand your song on a deeper level.
That's brilliant. That really is. This is a conversation I'm involved in almost every day, seriously, with people that I know. And I remember 4 years ago when I started getting out there. And I did not have all the systems in place. And that's where, well, how did you do it? And I said, I think bottom line, it was just that trust factor. That it was just, it was a whole new world for me. And that's why I encourage women to not feel intimidated by stepping out and maybe not having all the ducks in the row like we're so used to doing, and just be you.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, there's
just be
definitely
you.
a fear factor of being criticized, and so let's just put that out on the table. You're going to get criticized. That's just the way it is. I
And
mean,
Mike, yeah, and Joey, I believe that if you are criticized, that you must be doing something good.
Well,
yeah,
they're
you're
noticing
doing
you.
something right. You're doing something right. And I always tell people too, I tell my clients in the world, I say, listen, 90% of the people are going to love on you, 10% of the people are going to criticize you. Just get over it, just embrace it and just move on, because are you not going to be of service to the world because of fear of 10% of people criticizing you when 90% of people could be learning from your message, embracing your message, moving forward in forward motion in their life? Come on. I mean, it's an easy yes to me.
Hmm. Yes. Someone told me recently, we were talking about there again, where I was in this conversation. They said, let them, judge you. Let them try to do what
Yes.
you're doing. If you focus too much on that, you're missing out on what's over here, where your creativity is, what you're all about. And so it's that shifting the mindset.
It is.
So Joey, if let's say I hear about you and I hear about the good things that you're doing, and I decide I want to work with Joie Gharrity and No.113 Branding,
Sure.
what actually happens? So I pick up the phone and I call you, and we set a time to talk, and I decide I'm
Yeah.
going to work with you. What would be the first step? I mean, how do you lead? And I know it's women for the most
Yeah.
part, yes?
Yes, it is.
Yes. So
Yeah.
what would be the first thing? Would we sit down and have a strategy call to decide what we're going to do next, or do you just say, go do this?
No, 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 no. So the first step is that we actually create your song and your verses. And I've gotten so fast that I can do that with a client in 90 minutes now. And
Wow.
I want to say that sometimes that could take weeks and weeks and weeks, that kind of branding. But my system is what people do is they start talking to me about their passion around it and their why and everything, and I understand your song at a deeper level. And as we understand that, people have actually been using their song in a little bit of a wonky way, or some of their verses, but they've never put the actual song and the verses together. And that is why it's been causing confusion out in the marketplace. And they're saying, I'm just not getting enough clients. I'm just not getting enough buzz. And I was like, yeah, because but you do have a song, guys. And actually, it's a little deeper than that. I actually believe that you were born with your song already.
I agree. Oh my
And
gosh.
so, yeah,
I agree. I
so
agree.
that's actually, so we start with that in the first 90 minutes. And then people are like, wow, it's incredible, because the next 3 sessions is I have all these tangible strategies that we start laying into place around your song and your verses, that people start immediately incorporating into their company brands, and they start seeing that the world starts opening up faster and faster and faster to them, because it's building a confidence, but also too, people are seeing them and hearing their song clearly.
So is every woman a good client for you, or who is your ideal client?
My ideal client are women that want big change. They want big change. Their why and their mission, and by the way, it doesn't matter what field they're in. My techniques work in every field, but for me, it's important that they're in this for a purpose. There's a reason they're doing this. It's not just like, well, I have some products and my husband or my boyfriend or someone's telling me I should sell this. That is not my ideal client. Because I'm like, sister, when you find your song and your verses, this thing is going to blow up for you. And you have to really want it at a deep level. You have to want your company to do better. You have to want bigger visibility. And deep down inside, you have to want people to know your name.
And not have
That's what.
fear around that, and not have
Well,
fear.
you're going to have some fear, but when you work with me, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller because I really don't ever leave my clients in a way. I've always made my clients my friends a lot of times
Mhm.
too, and so I'm
Mhm.
always watching their brand, and then we're privately talking on the back end so that they know I'm not going to let them fall. But
Mhm.
these women, they want this. I mean, they're coming to me and saying, "Let's do it. Let's do
Mhm.
this. I want people to know my song. I'm sick of
I
struggling."
love the visual of that. I love not just the visual, the sound of it. It's a song, the
Yes.
sound of it, and the visual of it. You know, we've been teasing everyone with the double dip, triple dip, banana split,
Sure.
and I know Nancy, you have that on the brain over there, right?
Well, number one is for those of you watching your nutrition, there's no calories to it. Actually, my first visual, and this is you don't realize until you do, like thrifty ice cream. They have the you
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
I think anyone can equate to that. So, but yes, there again, Joe, you just see these eyes, they've gotten a lot bigger. And you know what came to me when we're talking about songs? How brilliant is Stevie Wonder, his album Songs in the Key of Life? That's
Beautiful.
just you're so right. We were born with that song, and I will talk about it when I see you next week about mine. But yes, I shared that yesterday, and this was no coincidence how Caren and I connected. I'm learning so much from her as far as digital assets,
And
just
Oh,
I from you.
getting started on Google Hangout and stepping into it, and the encouragement she provides me, and I know we're just in great synchronicity with it. And so my
yes.
message is, and what you're sharing too, is that sometimes it feels like that person's not going to show up or that group of people, and then they do. And be ready.
Yes.
Be
So
open to
Yes.
receive.
right. So that's a double dip. That would be a double
Right.
dip. Nancy and I got together with our skill sets and different things that we do. We had and we are double dipping together. That's a double dip, right?
Well, right, because you guys are actually leveraging each other's net worth and you guys are collaborating your content building together and but you both have your separate brands. That's a really important aspect to the double and the triple and the banana split. So there's actually four steps to doing a double, a triple, and a banana, but we'll start with the double. So step number one in the double is that a brand like myself goes to another brand, and what I ask people to do, which is really clever, both of you guys, is that you want to step out of your own field and you want to go find someone that's going to be in other backyards or have a whole other network that's going to hear about you and it's going to introduce you to. So, for instance, my first double dip was with Jen Duchenne. I wanted to beta test it. And so step number one is when you go to another brand, then you become the leader. Then you take on the director role. That double dip is now your responsibility. You asked, you take on the responsibility. Okay? Then step number two is that you as a director can say to that other brand, I need a piece of content from you. Can I have a quote? Can I have 3 or 4 tips? Is there a technique or tool that I can share from you about you? I would love to have your image, a headshot of yours, and I'd love to have your logo if you have one. Okay? You don't always have to have that, but that would be great. And then you make the decision, because you've taken on the director's role, of how you're going to incorporate the double dip. And so you can incorporate it with a blog, with an article, with a video. I incorporate mine in Tip Tuesdays in my group, where I'll ask another brand to give me some tips. But the third step is that you absolutely have to spotlight them. They have to become the spotlight of the content building. Okay? Because it's your job. Spotlight others, and it will the spotlight will shine back on you again. When you spotlight others and you're collaborative, your brand will grow faster and more expansive. It's just organic. So then you spotlight them, and then finally you tell your double dip the day that you're both going to share. Okay, so you go out the same day. It's such an important aspect of the strategies. Okay, the same day. You tag each other, and now you share away, because I'm going to be in groups that Jen Duchenne just isn't going to be in, and Jen's going to be in groups that I'm not in. So what it does is it gets you in these other backyards, and people start hearing your song and your name in places that they would never have heard about you before. And so what it creates is it starts creating a bigger wave of buzz about both of you. And then finally, guys, what's so beautiful about it is that other brands helped you do some heavy lifting with content, because we all know how content building can be a lot of work. But finally, 3 or 4 weeks later, you could both go back to each other again and you say, let's do it again. And what I mean is you share again. And then 3 months later, you share again. And you continue to share down the road and down the line when it feels right to both of you, but both together again. You have to be a unit when you're doing it. Okay? The beauty thing about the double dip of what's been happening is that people have been, when I'm double dipping with them, I said, okay, I got it. They said, you know what? I want to double dip at the exact same time as you. So not just do I want to tag, but can you now give me 3 tips? Or can you give me a quote? Can you give me your headshot? Can you give me your logo? I said, sure. And they said, okay, great. I'm going to do a video, and I'm going to upload that stuff in my video. And I said, you know what? I love doing articles. So I'm going to do an article. And they're like, great, let's both go out together and tag each other. Now this double dip just got real delicious, because there's so much value in it. And that's what I'm telling people around the dips is you got to put the value in there. You got to educate the marketplace on something. They don't just want to hear about sales. It's boring. They want to hear about something they can learn from.
So Joey, a double dip in our case then would be with you being on the show. You've been talking about your song and and the verses.
Right.
And so when this show is actually finally put into the platform that we share all of our shows on, I am going to be talking about your brand and how you do this with the song and with the verses. So when Nancy and I put this whole show together, we will let you know when this goes out, right?
Right.
Following your steps, because I took notes.
Yeah.
Letting you know, we have your headshot obviously already. We have information, so we will let you know when this is going to go out, so that we can direct this, because we are initiating, right, the double dip.
Right.
Is that correct?
That's absolutely right. And then I'm going to leverage my net worth, and I'm going to talk about you all across all my channels the same day as you guys launch this as well. And so it's going to just organically give this uplift through a collaborative and through community, because 99% of my strategies are actually community driven, because women can't, in my belief system, women can't get to the level of brand earning power as lone wolves. They actually have to do it in a collaborative of some sort, and I learned that in Hollywood. See, it would take 300 plus of us to make a movie, right? And a director couldn't make a movie by himself. It's absolutely impossible. That's why they give us a credit at the end. So no matter what you did on the movie, you're being honored and respected. But together, as that 300 plus, imagine the kind of buzz that just not the crew, but then the studio that has 1,000 plus people or thousands of people working there, plus a PR department, plus actors, plus writers, plus directors, and it goes on and on and on and on. And so what they do is they start spotlighting, and we all start collaborating as soon as the light goes green for a movie. And that's why 2 years later we can put thousands and hundreds of thousands of people into the theater seats. It's based on that same concept, but now I'm asking women entrepreneurs around the world to do this together, because your earning power will rise with the collaborative of Caren and Nancy helping to buzz you out and get your visibility out there, and then we're all tagging each other, and then we're pushing on the same day, and then we'll come back together a couple weeks later, we'll push again, and a couple of months later, we'll push again.
Mm-hmm. And the concept makes perfect sense, because this, once again, is a perfect divine example of Caren and I that we did not know all that we do. And this has been sort of
Yes.
spinning in my head. People say, you're not sharing all that you do. And it hasn't been intentional that I haven't, it just hadn't clicked. And now there's the website's driving more, and I'm putting more out there, and we will uplift one another, because
Yes.
Caren does an awful lot that maybe people don't know. It's just what's right there in front of you. So it's that did you know? And like, wow, no, I didn't know. And it's brilliant. Joey, just absolutely brilliant.
Oh, thank you, you guys. Really appreciate
You've
you both.
taken those chords, and it's together now. I kind of like the earbuds. Yes, because
Yeah, we're
I know.
threading.
Yeah, I was
We're
told we
threading.
need to get Nancy Ferrari out there. Who's Nancy Ferrari? And
And
then
then
and the work that
Karen
I
Scribble
do.
Dabble.
Right, and so yes, and
Well,
it's
you guys could actually be triple dipping too, because moving forward, just periodically, or if you want to do it every single time, it's up to you guys. See, it's all about a choice. But in the triple dip, 3 brands get together, and then we all decide together. Now, no one necessarily can take a director's role in a triple dip, because there's 3 of you now. But in a triple dip, you decide as a unit, how are you going to share each other's content. So you all 3 could decide. You with your guests could decide, hey, before you come on, why don't you put together a article, tag us in it, right, get a quote from us. Again, I love quotes, because I love to
Mhm.
promote people's spotlight mission. I love it. So I always get quotes every single time. But get a
Mhm.
quote, and then also like 3, and we'll give you, Nancy and Karen, we'll give you 3 techniques and tips on from our personal individual brands that you can weave in, but everyone has to find a doorway in. And you can, it's easy after a while. You just have to think about it. So with Jen, people said, how could you find a doorway in with a numerologist, Akashic Records reader? I said, easy.
Mhm.
I said, I'm going to talk about the word success in numbers and numerology, and how the number 5, see, I found the doorway in. The number 5 is a huge power number for me, and how I integrated it into my business.
Right.
See? And then she shared how the word success is a number 8. And now
Mhm.
we were able to
In
double
an 8 year.
content. Right, from an 8 year. So I was
Mhm.
just saying, you guys could even triple dip, and I want the audience to know too, that to go to your tribe, to your network, that you have to trust. It has to be authentic, by the way, everyone. You have to trust. But you could go to them, and then you guys could even do a banana split. And a banana split is when 3 or more brands get together, and they all cross-pollinate their content. So you can do this. It could go on and on and on. You could do this with 5 people, 10 people, 20, 100, 1,000. Easily, what I've been doing is I've been going to my tribe, and you all know this. I've been
Mhm.
asking you guys to please provide me with a tip. And so on Tip Tuesday, I've taken your tips, and I hyperlink in your website so that it's directly spotlighting back on you. But I'm doing that, and I just did one, and we just did 15 different women entrepreneurs with different tips from different fields, tagged everyone else tagged everyone else, and now you've got yourself a banana split.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Very,
It's
very, very
endless.
powerful stuff. Believe it or not, we're almost at the end of our time
Wow.
together. So before we have our farewells and our goodbyes,
Sure.
Joey, let's give our listeners and our watchers a call to action. How do they get in touch with you? What's the best way to reach you if they want to, find out more and work with you? Because you do good stuff. So
Oh,
how do they reach
thank
you?
you. Sure. So it's 113, the number 113branding.com. You can go there and you can learn more about me and contact me there. You can also find me on social media, like you two. I love social media. So I have a group on social media called Branding for Professional Business Women, where I want women entrepreneurs to spotlight themselves in there. You can find me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Joie Gharrity. It's Joie, and then it's Gharrity. Or you can email me. It's 113branding@gmail.com.
Hmm.
Awesome. So Nancy, any last thoughts?
Oh, there's a lot of fun. There is a major call to action, and I'll be giving you tips, and I want more from you. And I just
Yes.
want to thank you, Joy. You really, there again, have opened up my world, and that is, you are walking the walk, talking the talk, and inspiring others to do the same. And I thank you so much
Thank you,
and also
Nancy.
for being on our show. This is
Yeah,
dynamite.
we so appreciate you took the time. I know that you are so busy, and we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. And our listeners and our viewers, we want to thank you for taking time to be with us, because we know you have a choice, and we are so appreciative that you chose us today. And so we hope that you go out and give someone an awesome day today, and join us again next week on the next episode of Connecting People, Changing Lives. See you later. Bye-bye, everyone.